It's funny, when we talk about assets in business or strategy, we usually think about things we can touch.
Right. Tangible stuff.
Things you can measure on a spreadsheet. We talk about, real estate. We talk about IP, cash flow.
Things you can audit. Absolutely.
Exactly. But we rarely look at a biological function, something we do every single day, often without even thinking as a financial asset. Talking about the voice.
Yeah.
Usually we just think of it as a mechanism. You open your mouth, air hits the vocal cords, sound comes out, and you order a coffee or tell your team the meeting's at 2.
It's utility. Pure utility. For probably 99% of people, that's where it ends. It's just a tool for transmitting basic information.
But today, we're looking at a book that argues that whole perspective is actually costing us money.
Oh, yeah.
It's costing us influence. The whole premise here is that your voice is a currency. It's a tool for creation, a weapon for influence, and if you actually understand the maths behind it, a literal pathway to wealth.
It's a huge shift in perspective.
Yes.
I mean, it's moving from just making noise to, making an impact.
Yes.
And frankly, for anyone listening who wants to build a personal brand or, lead a company, it's a non-negotiable shift. You have to make it.
It really is. And that is exactly where we're going today. But before we get into the strategy, I do have to say this.
Go for it.
Welcome to the Strategy Sync YouTube channel. Please subscribe and like to hear new book summaries.
Absolutely. It really helps us keep these deep dives coming and, it keeps you ahead of the curve.
So the book we're unpacking today is called Speak Up: How to Use Your Voice to Inspire, Influence, and Earn. It's written by Hayley Mulenda Record. Now, I'll be honest, when I first saw that title, I thought, okay, here we go. Another public speaking manual.
Right. Stand up straight, project from your diaphragm, don't say or ah.
Exactly. But this isn't that. Not at all. This feels, much more like a manifesto on personal power, on branding.
I think that's a really fair assessment. And it helps to understand who Hayley Mulenda Record is, because she isn't writing this from some ivory tower or, a professor's office.
No.
She's writing this from the trenches.
She started incredibly young, didn't she?
She did. I mean, she started speaking at 15. And since then, she's spoken to over 5 million people across different continents.
Wow.
But the impressive part isn't even the number. It's the starting line. She comes from East London. She dealt with really severe bullying, and she navigated a very deep, very dangerous depression.
She's not someone who just, loved the sound of her own voice from day one.
Far from it. She has this great phrase. She talks about turning her mess into a message.
I like that.
And that brings us to the core thesis of the book, which I think is just fascinating for our listeners. She argues that so many people think they want to be speakers.
Right. They want the stage, the mic,
the applause. But deep down, what they really, really crave is to be heard.
That's a subtle distinction, but it feels really important. So what's the difference then between being a speaker and being a voice?
Well, a speaker is just someone holding a microphone. It's a role. A voice, on the other hand, is someone with conviction.
Okay.
A voice changes the atmosphere of a room. I mean, you can be a speaker and leave absolutely no trace. But if you are a voice, the room is different after you leave it.
And that is our mission today. We are not just learning how to give a better toast at a wedding.
No.
We are looking at the psychology, the art, and the maths. And she is very specific about the maths behind building a legacy with your voice.
We're going to break down how to monetize that voice and how to use it to actually, move the needle in your career or your business.
Okay, let's start with the foundation. She calls this first segment the psychology. And she opens with a statement that might make some of our more analytical listeners pause for a second.
I can see that.
She says, speaking is spiritual.
It is a bold opening, no question. But she's not necessarily asking you to adopt a specific theology or anything.
Right.
She's arguing that words aren't just descriptions of reality. They are creators of reality. She does reference some biblical perspectives, like the idea of the world being, created through speech. But she very quickly grounds this in something more observable.
She brings up the water experiment, Dr. Masaru Emoto.
Yes. Now, I should say, this is a controversial experiment in the, let's say, the mainstream scientific community.
Sure.
But as a metaphor for biological impact, it's incredibly sticky. It just works.
So walk us through it for anyone who hasn't heard of it before.
Okay. So Dr. Emoto conducted these experiments where he exposed water to different words and, intentions. He would label containers of water with words like love, gratitude, or peace. and then he'd freeze them.
Okay.
And when he looked at the frozen crystals under a microscope, the water that was exposed to those positive words formed these intricate, symmetrical, just beautiful geometric shapes.
Like snowflakes, right?
Exactly like snowflakes. Perfect harmonic structures. But then he did the inverse.
The negative words.
He exposed water to words like hate, anger, or phrases like you make me sick. And when that water froze, the crystals were just chaos. They were jagged, broken, ugly structures, no symmetry at all, just a mess.
And the strategic link here, the so what for us, is that we are basically walking, talking bags of water.
Precisely. The human body is roughly 60% water. The brain is even higher, something like 73% water.
Wow.
So Record's argument is if words can physically alter the molecular structure of water in a dish, what is your internal dialogue doing to you?
Yeah.
What are the words you speak to yourself and the words you accept from others doing to your own biology?
It moves it from, woo-woo to wellness. It's practical. If you are constantly speaking stress and failure and incompetence over yourself, you are potentially creating a chaotic internal environment.
And she backs this up with more traditional medical data as well. She references studies from The Lancet on the placebo effect.
This is the part that really clicked for me. It's so concrete. It's incredibly powerful. The studies show that when a doctor simply assured a patient, just using positive authoritative words, that a treatment would work, it activated actual pain relief pathways in the brain.
Even if the pill was just sugar.
Even if it was totally inert, the words themselves release the chemicals. So think about that in a leadership context.
Oh, yeah.
Your words are literally a drug for your team. You can administer cortisol stress, or you can administer dopamine and serotonin. That is the power of the voice.
So if we accept that speaking is this power tool, how do we actually use it? Because, think positive thoughts is a bit vague.
It is.
But Hayley provides a framework. She calls it SPEAK.
She loves her acronyms.
Yeah.
Which is great for us because it makes these concepts so portable. SPEAK is a framework for manifesting a vision. It starts with S.
Yes, see it before you say it.
This is the imagination component. You have to have the mental architecture in place before you try to describe it.
If you can't see the outcome of the negotiation or the size of the company you want to build, you can't speak it into existence effectively. The words will be hollow.
Then comes P. Proclaim it with faith.
Right. And this isn't just, wishing. She uses the Jim Carrey example, which I think is just the ultimate case study for this.
It's a classic, but it's so good.
It's a Hollywood legend, but it's true. Before Jim Carrey was Jim Carrey, he was a broke comic driving a beat-up Toyota.
Right.
He drove up to Mulholland Drive, looked out over the whole city, and wrote himself a check. A check for $10 million.
With the memo line, for acting services rendered.
Dated Thanksgiving 1995. He didn't just think about it. He created a physical artifact of his faith. And he carried that check in his wallet until it literally fell apart.
And the timeline is what's so spooky.
It's incredible. Just before that date in 1995, he lands Dumb and Dumber and The Mask, and his fee hits that exact $10 million mark.
Wow.
He proclaimed it, and he carried the evidence of it before the reality ever caught up.
Okay, so that's S and P. What is E?
E is eliminate thoughts that shrink you. This is the weeding process. It's active.
Right.
You can plant the vision with see it and water it with proclaim it. But if you have weeds of doubt, or if you're listening to people who tell you to, stay in your lane, the crop won't grow. You have to actively eliminate the inputs that shrink your ambition.
And then A is affirm your identity daily.
This goes deeper than just saying, I am happy or I am successful. It's about identity. I am a CEO. I am a thought leader. You have to wear the identity before the market validates it for you.
And finally, K is kindle others with your voice.
Because eventually the voice has to leave you. It has to be about more than you. If your voice only serves yourself, that's just ego. If it kindles a fire in other people, that's leadership.
Hayley actually applied this whole framework in a way that is, it's kind of hilarious, but also incredibly instructive.
I love this story.
She tells the story of being 15 years old and writing a professional bio for herself.
At 15, it's just so audacious.
She wrote, Hayley Mulenda is a multi-award-winning international speaker.
At 15. She hadn't left East London. She hadn't won a single award. I don't think she even had a passport.
But she wrote it down. She SPEAK'd it into existence.
So she did. She saw it. She proclaimed it. And the truly crazy thing is, if you go to a conference today where she is speaking, the MC will read that exact bio.
Oh.
But now, every single word of it is factually true. She didn't wait for the credentials to write the bio. She wrote the bio to create the mandate for the credentials.
That is just a masterclass in intent. But I have to play devil's advocate here for a second.
Please.
If I'm sitting at my desk and I'm writing a bio that says I'm an industry titan when I'm actually an intern, that brings up a very specific feeling.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like fraud.
Imposter syndrome.
The big one. Exactly. And the book dives really heavily into this, but she makes a distinction that I think is crucial for this social media age we live in, the difference between real models and role models.
This is such a critical strategic distinction. We live in what she calls the microwave era.
I like that.
We want success in 30 seconds. We see the Instagram version of success, the curated role model. A role model is often playing a character. They show you the result. They show you the private jet or the unicorn valuation.
And not the work.
Not the struggle. A real model, on the other hand, shows you the process.
They show you the scars.
Exactly. They show you the scars. And that brings us to a term she coined that really, it just stopped me in my tracks. Bleedership.
Bleedership. Wow, that sounds visceral.
It is, and it's a trap so many leaders are falling into today in the name of authenticity or vulnerability.
So what is it?
Bleedership is when you try to lead people while you are still bleeding from an open wound. She makes this massive distinction between speaking from a scar and speaking from a wound.
Okay, let's break that down. A scar implies healing has happened.
Correct. A scar means the event is over. You've processed it, you've learned the lesson, and now you are sharing that lesson to help others avoid the same injury. That is useful. That is leadership. Speaking from a wound means you are currently in the crisis. You haven't processed it. And you're essentially using your audience or your team as your therapists.
That's a huge distinction. I see this on LinkedIn sometimes. People posting these incredibly raw emotional breakdowns about losing a client or a job, and it just feels uncomfortable.
It feels uncomfortable because it is bleedership. The audience doesn't know if they should follow you or save you. A leader needs to offer stability, even when they're discussing failure.
So how do you show the pain without it being bleedership?
She uses a brilliant pop culture example to illustrate the perfect balance of this, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, the scene with his dad, of course.
It's legendary. Will Smith's character is abandoned by his father, Lou, for a second time. And Will launches into this monologue. He's angry, he's pacing, shouting about how he doesn't need him.
The hell with him.
Exactly. And then the anger just breaks, and he turns into a scared little kid, and he asks Uncle Phil, "How come you don't want me, man?"
Ugh, it's devastating every time.
It is. And later, Will Smith revealed he wasn't just acting. He was channeling real pain from his own life, his own insecurities. But, and this is the key part, he was using that pain for the art.
Right.
He wasn't just having a breakdown on set. He was channeling the emotion to serve the story and to serve the audience. That is being a real model. He showed the pain, but he was in control of the vehicle.
That control is what separates real vulnerability from just being messy. But even with that control, Hayley admits that something like 70% of people experience imposter syndrome.
70%. It's the norm, not the exception. It's almost weird if you don't feel it.
She even shares her own story about running for young mayor of Newham.
Right, and you have to imagine the context. She's from a tough neighborhood. She speaks with the local slang. She doesn't sound like a politician. She doesn't have that polished, Etonian accent.
So she felt completely inadequate.
Totally. She thought, who am I to stand on this podium? What do I have to offer?
And I think a lot of our listeners can feel that. Who am I to start this consultancy, or who am I to write this book?
The turning point for her, and really for anyone listening, is realizing that confidence is not a gene. It's not something you are born with. It is a construction project.
It's built.
It is built brick by brick, experience by experience. She has this great line, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be brave. And she really emphasizes reframing failure. If you lose the election or if the pitch goes badly, that isn't proof that you're a fraud. That's just data. It's a stepping stone to the next thing.
So, okay, we've got the mindset. We're moving from leadership to real leadership. Now let's talk about execution. How do we actually deliver the message? This brings us to the art of storytelling.
And storytelling is the vehicle. I mean, you can have the best data in the world, the best charts, but if you can't wrap it in a story, the human brain just won't retain it. It's not how we're wired.
Hayley connects this to the inner child. She says stories feed that part of us, that still needs hope and context.
And she shares a very intense, very personal story about the power of narrative. She was in a deep depression, suicidal, actually.
Right.
And her brother told her a story that she credits with saving her life.
The Muhammad Ali story.
That's the one.
Can you retell that? It's so powerful.
Yeah. So she's at her absolute lowest point. Her brother sits her down and he says, Hayley, think about Muhammad Ali. When he's in the ring, he had thousands of people chanting his name. Ali, Ali. But he says when he gets knocked down, the crane can't lift him up. The referee can't lift him up. His trainer can't lift him up.
It's just him on the canvas.
It's just him. And her brother said, only Ali can decide to get back up. We're all here. We're all cheering for you, Hayley, but you have to be the one to get up.
Wow.
That story gave her the agency she needed. It shifted her perspective from I'm a victim to I'm the fighter on the canvas.
Yeah.
That's what a story does. It bypasses logic and hits you right in your identity.
For those of us who, maybe aren't trying to save a life, but maybe just trying to save a presentation, how do we construct a story like that? Because that wasn't just a random anecdote. It had a very clear structure.
It did. And Hayley gives us the triple T framework for storytelling. This is pure gold for anyone in sales, marketing, or leadership.
Okay, what is it?
T number 1 is test. You have to share the struggle. You have to share the pain or the challenge. If you present yourself as perfect, you have zero connection. Nobody likes Superman without the kryptonite.
Right. If you just say, I launched a business and made $1 million, people just resent you.
Exactly. You have to start with the test. I launched a business and I almost went bankrupt in month 3. Now I'm listening. Now I'm leaning in.
Okay, so that's test. What's the second T?
T number 2 is testimony. This is the triumph. You have to show the healing or the solution. This is what provides hope. If you only share the struggle, it's just a sad story. The testimony says, I got through it, and here is the map so you can too.
And the third T?
Takeaway. This is the part most people forget. What is the one-liner? What is the core lesson? What is the thing the audience puts in their pocket and walks home with?
In the Ali story, the takeaway was,
only you can decide to get up. Simple, powerful, unforgettable.
I love that. Test, testimony, takeaway. It's a simple 3-act structure anyone can use. But to make that story really land, you have to know who is receiving it.
Yes.
And this is where she brings in a classic marketing concept and applies it to speaking. The Jerry profile.
I laughed when I read this just because it's so specific. She literally names her ideal audience member Jerry.
So who is Jerry?
Well, for her, Jerry is a specific avatar. But the lesson is that you need a Jerry. You can't speak to everyone. It's impossible. If you try to speak to everyone, you end up speaking to no one.
You have to get specific.
Very specific. How old is Jerry? What is Jerry afraid of at 3 a.m? Does Jerry struggle with imposter syndrome? Is Jerry worried about his rent or his stock portfolio?
Because the language you use for Jerry the college student is completely different from the language you'd use for Martha the CEO.
Exactly. And if you don't define your Jerry, you will default to speaking for yourself.
Yeah.
And that brings up her concept of love languages in speaking. Are you speaking to give value to Jerry? Or are you speaking because you need affirmation and applause from the crowd?
That's the leadership check again. Am I here to serve Jerry, or do I need Jerry to like me?
Yes. And if the audience senses that you need them to like you, they will pull back. It feels needy. If they sense you are there to give them a gift, a tool, a new perspective, they will lean in.
Okay, so we have the story structure and we know our Jerry. Now we need to scale this. We need people to actually know who we are. This takes us to segment 4, which covers personal branding and networking, or as she calls it, the science.
She opens this section with a bit of a slap in the face, a wake-up call. She says, you're too broke to not be visible.
Harsh. But in this economy, probably true.
It is. It basically means if you are hiding your gift, if you're not putting yourself out there, you are actively limiting your income and your impact. Anonymity is expensive.
So how do we get visible? She gives us another framework here, VISA.
Like the travel document, not the credit card. It's what gets you access to new territories, new opportunities.
So what's V?
V is for visibility. Pretty straightforward. You have to be seen, and you have to be seen consistently. She mentions creators like Mr. Beast or Kai Cenat. They didn't just show up once and hope for the best.
No, they're relentless.
They're relentless. Visibility is about frequency and consistency.
Okay, so after V comes I.
I is for identity. What are you known for? When people say your name in a room you aren't in, what is the very next sentence? For Tony Robbins, the next sentence is probably, transformation, or energy. For you, it has to be something that clear. If people are confused about what you do, they will not buy from you. Storytelling, which we just covered. It's about connecting emotionally. He mentions Tabitha Brown, the vegan influencer. She just shares her life and stories, and people feel like they're her best friend. That emotional bond, that's the S.
And finally, A.
Authority. This is different from visibility. Visibility is, I see you. Authority is, I trust you.
Good distinction.
And this comes from providing real value, sharing data, showing competence. Simon Sinek is the examples he uses here. He has authority because his content is insightful, not just loud.
But she warns us, this isn't just about being an internet celebrity. She has this whole concept of offline branding called CORE.
This is so important because you can be famous online and have a terrible reputation in real life. And that will destroy you eventually. The truth comes out.
So what's CORE?
C is character. Who are you when the Wi-Fi is off? Who are you to the waiter, to the intern? O is opportunities. How do you show up in rooms? Are you prepared or are you just winging it? R is relationships. Your reputation among your peers. What do they say about working with you? And E is evidence.
Ugh, the kicker. Show the receipts.
Do you actually have the results to back up the talk?
Speaking of relationships, that R in CORE, she has a very strategic way of looking at networking. She uses a traffic light system.
This is brilliant for managing your energy because, let's face it, networking can be absolutely exhausting.
It really can.
So red light people are aspirational. These are your mentors, your idols. You want to know them, but you don't yet. You have to reach out with discernment. Don't spam them. Respect their time.
Yellow light people
are acquaintances, people you've met. The goal here is to build with intention. Move them from yellow to green.
And green light people
are your destiny helpers. I love that term. These are the ride or dies. The people who mention your name in rooms full of opportunities when you're not there. You need to protect these relationships at all costs.
And for those red light people, the big shots, she suggests the casino strategy. I love this visualization.
It's straight out of a heist movie, right? Imagine you're trying to get to the owner of the casino. You don't just walk up to the penthouse. Security will stop you dead.
Right.
So what do? You talk to the dealer. You talk to the pit boss. You talk to the bartender. You build rapport with the people around the target.
So in a corporate context,
don't go straight for the CEO and get ignored. Build a real relationship with the executive assistant. Build with the writers, the crew, the middle managers.
The gatekeepers.
The gatekeepers hold all the keys. If the assistant likes you, your email gets read. If the assistant thinks you're a jerk, you are in the spam folder for eternity. Treat them with respect, not just as stepping stones.
And she also mentioned something called networking across.
Yes, the Issa Rae example.
Tell us about that.
Everyone is obsessed with networking up, finding a powerful mentor to pull them up. Issa Rae didn't wait for Hollywood executives to pick her. She looked at her friends, the writers and actors sitting right next to her in the struggle, and said, let's build this thing together.
So she created Insecure with her peers.
Exactly. They all rose together. The lesson is powerful. Your future business partner is probably sitting next to you right now, not in some corner office somewhere else.
That is so key. Stop looking up all the time and start looking across.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about the thing everyone gets weird about, but is essential for strategy sync. Let's talk about money. Segment 5, the maths.
Her tagline for this is, voice is worth the invoice.
It's a catchy rhyme, but it represents a pretty serious mindset shift that a lot of people need to make.
It really does. So many people, especially in the inspiration or helping fields, feel guilty about charging for their work.
Yeah, the humble and free mindset.
They feel that if they have a gift, they should just give it away. Hayley shares a great story about her husband, Sterling. She was undercharging for speaking gigs, and he asked her a really simple question.
What was it?
He just said, but what do you want to be paid?
And she didn't even have a number in her head.
She had no idea. And he told her something crucial. People find a budget for what they value. If you price yourself low, you are signaling to the market that your value is low. If you charge a premium, suddenly the client finds a premium budget in their books.
So how do we actually go about monetizing? She gives us the Voice E framework for the business model.
Yes. Another great acronym, V is visibility, which we've covered. It's the top of your funnel. O is offer clarity. This is where most people fail. You have to be able to say in one sentence, I help your Jerry get a specific result through your method.
If you can't say that clearly, you can't sell it.
You can't. I is income systems. This is the boring but essential stuff. How do you actually get paid? Do you have contracts, payment links, invoicing software, the admin that ensures the money actually hits your bank account? C is credibility. Case studies, testimonials, social proof, proving that your method works for other people. And E is expansion, scaling beyond just trading your time for money.
And on that expansion point, she lists 16 different streams of income.
16, not one, not two, 16.
No. Most speakers, they just stop at one, the speaking fee.
Right. And she calls that the Hampton Court Palace model. It looks grand. You get a big check for 1 hour on stage, but it's old school. It's trading time for money. If you get sick and can't speak, your income drops to zero.
So what's the alternative?
She pushes for the Netflix model. Think recurring revenue, digital products, licensing, things that make you money while you sleep.
Give us a few examples from those 16 streams.
Well, obviously, keynotes is number one. But then you have coaching, helping people one-on-one to implement the ideas. Corporate training, teaching an entire department. Then digital courses, you record the training once and sell it infinitely. Licensing, this is a big one. If you have a unique methodology, you can certify other trainers to teach it. They pay you a license fee, you make money while they work.
And books, merchandise.
Books, merchandise, brand partnerships. The point is, one voice can flow into many, many rivers of income. You should never just rely on one check.
That diversification is really what turns a speaker into a business. And she mentions the ultimate cheat code to scaling all of this: collaboration.
This is all about breaking that scarcity mindset. So many people think, if I partner with you, I have to split the pie. Hayley says, no, if we partner, we can bake a much bigger pie together.
Right.
She uses Michael Jordan in the example. Even the greatest basketball player of all time couldn't win a championship alone. He needed Scottie Pippen. He needed Dennis Rodman. He needed a team.
You can score a lot of points alone, but you only win titles with a squad.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so we've made the money, we've built the brand. Now where do we take it? This brings us to the final segment: global impact and legacy.
This is all about scaling your message beyond your local bubble. Her phrase for this is, purpose doesn't have a postcode.
But she does warn against trying to be global before you've mastered being local.
Oh, absolutely. Master Newham before you expect Dubai. You have to serve your local community faithfully first.
That's your training ground. If you can't move the crowd in your hometown, you're not going to move the crowd in a stadium in another country.
And when she did go to Dubai to expand her reach, she didn't just show up and expect to be a star. She practiced what she calls cultural intelligence.
She traveled there alone just to learn. All right, this wasn't a paid gig at first.
No, it was pure market research. She went there just to understand the culture. How do they speak? What is considered respectful? What is offensive? What are their core values?
That's incredible.
You can't impact a culture you don't respect enough to learn about first. She did the homework.
That is profound. It's not just about exporting your stuff. It's about importing their context so you can serve them better. But even on a global stage, you're going to get rejected. You're going to get haters.
Oh, absolutely. The bigger the platform, the louder the noise. And she has the REAL framework for handling criticism and rejection.
Okay, let's hear it. R is for reflect. Is there actually a kernel of truth in what they're saying? Sometimes the haters are right about a blind spot. Don't just dismiss it immediately. E is for evaluate. Consider the source. Is this person credible? Are they in the arena with you? If it's an anonymous troll with 0 followers, the weight of their opinion is 0.
Right.
A is for align. Does this feedback match your core values? If they're criticizing you for being too loud, but your entire brand is about being bold and unapologetic, then you're aligned. You can ignore them. And L is for let it fuel you.
This is the Serena Williams approach.
Exactly. Or Walt Disney. Use the no as fuel to build a bigger yes. Take the rejection brick they throw at you and use it to build your castle.
And finally, she talks about legacy. The book is called Speak Up, but her married name is Record, and she plays on that double meaning.
A new record, setting a new benchmark.
Yes, and she suggests this exercise. It's a bit grim, but it's really effective. The eulogy exercise. She asks you to sit down and write your own eulogy. What do you want people to say about you at the end? Because the truth is, you are writing that eulogy every single day with your actions. If you want people to say she was generous, but you are hoarding knowledge and opportunities today, you are writing a very different eulogy.
She brings up Chadwick Boseman as the ultimate example of this.
It's such a touching and powerful example.
Yeah.
We all know now that he was battling stage 4 colon cancer privately while he was publicly playing Black Panther and Jackie Robinson in Thurgood Marshall.
Yeah.
He was in immense pain. He was exhausted. But he understood that he had a limited window to leave his mark on the world. He worked through the pain to leave a legacy that will outlive him. That is the definition of a voice. It speaks even when the speaker is gone.
It's not about how long you live, but how deep you dig.
Yes. Consistency. That's the final image I want people to hold on to. Don't dig 1,000 shallow holes, starting a podcast, quitting, starting a blog, quitting. Dig one deep well. Stick with your message. Stick with your voice. Eventually you will hit water.
Wow. Okay, let's unpack this for the listener. We have covered a lot of ground here. Psychology, storytelling, branding, money, legacy. What stands out to you as the single most actionable thing for someone listening right now?
I think it's the combination of the Jerry profile and offer clarity. I really do.
Okay, why those two?
A lot of people listening have a voice. They have something important to say, but they're just shouting into the void because they're trying to speak to everybody.
Right.
So stop shouting at everyone. Pick your Jerry, who is the one person you most want to help. Define them, and then clarify your offer. I help Jerry do X. If you do just those two things, everything else, the VISA framework, the monetization, it all starts to click into place.
That's really good. For me, it's the distinction between leadership and leading from a scar.
Yeah.
I think in this age of oversharing online, we confuse being messy with being authentic.
We do.
Take the time to heal, process your story, find the takeaway in your Triple T framework, then share it. That's how you actually help people instead of just, venting in public.
That is the difference between a diary entry and a keynote speech. One is for you, the other one is for them.
Exactly. So, to everyone listening, here is your challenge. You have a story. Hayley Mulenda Record believes, and I think we believe, that someone out there needs to hear your story to survive.
Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect microphone. Use the SBEAK framework. See it, proclaim it. Use the Triple T. Turn your test into a powerful testimony. Treat your voice like the incredible asset it is.
And remember, you're too broke to not be visible. Get out there.
Thank you so much for diving deep with us today.
It's been a pleasure.
Please, if you enjoyed this, subscribe to the Strategy Sync YouTube channel for more book summaries just like this. We love bringing these insights to you.
Keep digging those deep wells.
We'll see you in the next deep dive.
Take care.